G'day everyone. Today I had a really great chat with Ben from Enrich's Business. Ben is a genius when it comes to Google Ads. So we thought we'd have a really great chat with him about Google Ads and how they can help local small business. Google Ads can seem like this really crazy thing that's a bit scary, but they are able to be done by yourself, or you can just grab the help from somebody like Ben if it gets a bit too much. They are a really great way to convert really cost-effective leads to your business. So make sure you watch right to the end. Ben drips gold all the way through on Google Ads. Over to you, Ben.
G'day, Ben.
Brendan, how are you?
I'm well, thanks, mate. Thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with us. I know it's super busy working from home at the moment, and you guys must be absolutely out of control busy. So thank you so much for taking the time. Hey,
Nice pleasure.
tell us about yourself. What's your background? What's the business, and what do you guys do?
Yeah, so I run Enrich's Business. We're a digital marketing agency. So pretty much, I mean, that covers a huge lot of things, but to sum it up, we're pretty much everything internet. So, you've got your Google ads, Facebook ads, do content management, websites, uh, analytics, everything's internet.
It's kind of hocus pocus. Some of that stuff seems like that's impossible to learn. So it's great to have people like you locally that people can go to and get some help, because it's super confusing, this stuff.
Yeah, and they change the goalposts all the time, which makes it really fun. So yeah, we obviously have to keep on top of all the changes, because yeah, Google and Facebook pretty much run the world these days.
Oh, yeah, they sure do. I actually a few years ago was in Sydney on business stuff, and an advertising executive said that the advertising industry at that stage was about an $11 billion industry in Australia. And at that stage, this is about 4 years ago, Google and Facebook were taking $6 billion of that 11 out of the country. And they would have only gotten bigger. And the trouble was that those companies, those big companies that are advertising, they're still trying to get the same level of service that they did for 11 billion with the agencies for 5 billion. So yeah, it's Google and Facebook's sandbox. There's no two ways about that.
That's it. That's right.
So local businesses really do need to concentrate on their online presence now more than ever. And you as well as I, we've been beating the drum for years that people need to be online. There was still some resistance to getting online, to stepping into social media marketing or Google ads or websites even. That's sort of not a place that you can be now. So really, they need to concentrate on every aspect of online. And I'd love to get some insight from you guys on Google ads. To me, they seem like just super confusing. I haven't really even ventured in there. But I mean, Google ads, people see them all the time, but probably don't understand what they are, what they do, how to set it up. But they definitely need to be doing it for local business now more than ever. What do you reckon?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for one, everyone's stuck at home, and if you need something, how do you find it? You go to Google.
Absolutely.
So if you're not found on Google, you're not going to be found. The days of the phone book are long gone. They're used as a doorstop now. I actually get a little annoyed when they're delivered, because I'm like, what a waste of paper.
Oh yeah, me too.
So I guess there's a range of Google ads, but the simplest one would be your search campaigns. So say you need a plumber, which probably a lot of people are going to need, given that they've been using baby wipes instead of toilet paper. So you jump on Google, you search plumber or plumber gimpy, And the first, and this is changing, there's a bit changing that we're sort of staying on top of, but it used to be the first 3 results would be your ads. Lately, Google have been squeezing in 4 or 5.
Wow.
So they're paid ads, and you can pay to get to the top of that. Now, if it's done right, it's very, very cost effective. If it's done wrong, it can be very expensive. So basically what you do is you bid for keywords that you want to come up under. So obviously with Plumly, there's a range of things. You might only be doing residential. So you, I guess, use those keywords that you know people are going to be searching for. There's a tool in there, Keyword Planner. Take it with a grain of salt, because Google want as much money from you as they can possibly get, and they will recommend 50 times more words than you actually need. So it's good to be pretty focused, and also you then bid on those words, and you're bidding against what your competitors are bidding on. There's a range of ways that you can do it, but the best way is sort of to say, this is the maximum that I'm willing to pay for this word, and that way your budgets don't blow out. So, you know, we look after a huge range of businesses, you know, and it can cost anywhere, well, if you look at the businesses we deal with, anywhere from sort of 30 cents a click up to, you know, lawyers, which is a tough one. We sit around $3.50, $4 a click. But that's cheap advertising, because you only pay when they click on your ad.
Absolutely. And you could, depending on the business, you may pay, I suppose, depending on the business and the business's service. If you're a business that sells cars, for example, and a car dealership might have $1,000 margin in a car, they might be able to bid higher per click than somebody that's selling a pen, and a pen's got 10 cents margin in it. So
Yeah.
is that about right?
Yeah, pretty much. And that's why, you know, lawyers, it's really hard to get the cost per click down, because, you know, obviously they're charging out $400, $450 an hour. They get one client out of it, they're laughing. So
Yep.
they can throw more money at it, exactly as you say. And that's where, you know, the ongoing management of it is quite important, because your cost per click, I guess, as an example with builders, when sort of Gympie, they were saying Gympie's the hot spot, the place to build. You know, we saw a heap of Brisbane builders come in with obviously very deep pockets, and the cost per click pretty much tripled overnight, because they've just come in and gone, oh, I don't care, I'll pay $15 per click for the term builder in this region. So it's fun. It's an ongoing, like, you know, keeping an eye on the numbers, adjusting the bidding. But if you think about it, like, say you had a bricks and mortar store, which, you know, might be closed now, might, you know, be, I guess things have changed. But wouldn't you pay? It's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. You just froze a second there. Can I get you to just say that again? I think it's my end. Good old Telstra out at Pie Creek.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it froze, but I was just saying, like, if you had a store, wouldn't you pay 50 cents to get someone to come in and see what you've got to offer?
Oh, absolutely.
And not only that, but wouldn't you pay 50 cents for someone who's actually looking for you at that time to come in and see what you've got to offer? So, you know, you can, with a well-run account, it's a very, in my opinion, the best form of marketing out there. My wife would probably disagree because she does the Facebook stuff, but it's finding the motivated customers straight away when they're there, when they're ready. So that's your search campaign. It's probably, well, it is the one we do the most of and is very effective. And then you've got a couple of other things like Google Shopping, which you would have seen. You search activewear and the images come up with the pricing. Now, I'd love to go into detail on this, but it was very vague. Yesterday, Google announced that they're going to be offering free Google Shopping in the US. Yeah, that was pretty much my first thought. I'm like, and their announcement was extremely vague. And my thought was, what's Google going to get out of this? And because that's Google. And it's starting in the US, and they've said that by the end of the year, they're hoping to roll it out globally. And they've said because people, stores have shut, we want to help. My theory, and it's only a theory, is that they're getting people in. They're getting people in. They're going to give them a very, very small budget for free. And then anyone who sets up, or anyone who has a Google ad account will know this. They have Google reps that call constantly saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. Please take that advice with a grain of salt. Because if you take that advice, I guarantee you'll see your cost per click go up massively, and the traffic that you get won't be refined. It's just, I've literally got about 12 Google numbers blocked on my phone because they will call. But yeah, so it's interesting that they're going to be offering free shopping, and I'm keeping my eye on, I guess, the news of how that's going to work, because they've said it late by the end of the month, so it's going to happen pretty soon in the US. Now, so that's Google Shopping. We've also got Google Remarketing, which not that we're doing this at the moment, but a good example and people that use it a lot is you might look at accommodation that you're going to stay at, you're thinking about it, and then you go and cook dinner, and then the next day you're on eBay or on another site, and that same accommodation will appear. That's Google Remarketing, and you can do it as either people that have been to your website, so going back to people that have shown interest in the past, or you can set up targeting for the types of people that you want to appear in. Same sort of deal. You bid, and you only pay when they click. Really effective, because unless they've accidentally clicked it, which happens, they're only going to click on your ad if they want to go back. So they're like, oh, that's right, I wanted to stay there, or that's right, those shoes are great, I really wanted to grab them and I didn't end up doing it. And then the last one that you can do through Google is your YouTube ads. We've all seen, and in my experience, they're great for branding. They're not as high converting as something like your search campaign or your remarketing or shopping, but really cheap to get eyeballs on what you're doing. But obviously you need a good video to do it. Otherwise, your business isn't going to look too great if it's a shonky video that you're using. So yeah, I guess that's a overview of
Absolutely. So it sounds like to me, the way I've always thought about it, and correct me if I'm wrong, and with all due respect to Nick and Jess, I sort of see Facebook ads as being something that you're passively scrolling through your Facebook, and you might go, oh, gee, there's a pen that I like, I might go into that. But Google ads are completely different. You will type into Google pens So you are physically, actively looking for a pen. So there is the chance that that ad may be more valuable. It would convert at a higher rate than perhaps a Facebook ad. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes and no. I love Google, and I'm not a massive fan of Facebook at all. Whereas my wife's obviously quite the opposite. It is. I think you're right, because yes, it is motivated. Searches. Those people are looking for that at the time. Facebook is, about getting the right targeting and getting the right message across. So I think Google's more about the numbers and keeping your eye on the numbers, whereas Facebook's more about the communication and reaching the right people and getting the right message across. So they can and do work well hand in hand.
Yes.
Because you can actually retarget if you've got your pixel on your website. People that have gone through and found your website through Google, you can then retarget ads through Facebook, the same as Google remarketing that I mentioned before. But I'm just trying to think through all my clients and make sure this is accurate. I feel that conversions happen a lot quicker through your Google ads, whereas the Facebook is more about there's a bit of a journey to the ads, and getting the people to become your customer. So yeah, long-winded answer, yes, I think Google's quicker and better as far as your advertising goes.
So let's just throw a hypothetical situation up. So you're a local business that's still trading, and you provide a service. How do they get started into a Google ad? What do they type into Google to get started?
That's probably a really good question. You just go Google Ads, and if you have a Google account, you can use that, or just set up a Gmail is the easiest way to go about it, which only takes a couple of minutes. You enter your name, details, select an email. It will actually, they've made it very easy for people to get started.
Good.
They've got, I'll try not to give too much of my 2 cents, but they've got it sort of step by step when you set up. So it's very easy to do. And I think it was November last year, they started running what they call smart campaigns, which is it's just a really basic setup where Google does most of the work for you. And you just go, I sell shoes, come buy my shoes, blah, blah, blah. Click now or sale on, that sort of thing. And it's set. It really doesn't take much time. I encourage you to not use the smart campaigns and set up a full campaign by going into expert mode. Now, I love that they've called it expert mode, because how many people that are going, I've got to, I'm going to give this a go, I'm not going to touch expert mode. I'm going to stay in my lane here with this smart campaign that Google does it for me.
Yeah.
And, we've had a client that was paying $16 a click trying to run, trying to run their smart campaign. And, they just, when they called me, they said, look, I've set up this smart campaign. I've taken the advice of the Google reps, but I'm burning through my $100 a day budget and not getting any sales. It's costing me $16 a click. I'm like, okay, we'll take that off your hands. I'm like, that's way too much. We started with her just before Christmas. Her cost per click at the moment is 42 cents.
Wow.
From $16.
Far out.
So I think have I just froze? I think I just froze.
No, you're live.
Oh.
You're good. So So in actual fact, Google are carnies. They're sideshow folk. They go, hey, come in here, boy. We'll get you sorted out. That's no worries at all. Just step right up over here. We'll look after you, like that. And then they just take your wallet. But there's ways around that if you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just also about keeping your eye on the account. Unfortunately, in our industry, there's a lot of shady characters that does my head in,
Yeah.
and gives digital agencies a bad name. But
That's
a lot of them will just do the old set and forget, set you up, and then they'll take a retainer each month and literally be doing nothing. Your ads will just be running. When you set up your account, you've got to make sure that you keep looking at it and checking your cost per click, checking what words are converting, what words aren't converting, and constantly tweaking it, because, we manage accounts on a weekly basis, go in, look at the numbers, go, okay, this is what's happened. That's not working. Let's get rid of that. This is working. Let's get more of that happen, and make those changes. Then we let it run for the week, come back and look again. It is a very rare week where we look at it and go, perfect.
Yep.
That's running perfect. And if that does happen in the rare event, I guarantee you the next week we're like, whoa, okay, the cost per click really blown out. Let's adjust the bidding strategy. So my advice to everyone setting up their own Google accounts is, don't just set it up and hope for the best. Keep checking on it. See what's happening in there. Know your numbers, and it can be the cheapest and most effective way of advertising your business. We've got we've had quite a few people come to us that are scared at the moment. The phones have stopped ringing. It is what it is. And they're saying, look, we don't have much money to spend. We don't have the work coming in. The bigger the budget, the better, and the easier it is. But you can run Google ads for $5 a day. Where else can you get in front of qualified people for $5 a day, $35 a week? I'd recommend a much higher budget, but I'm just saying, you can do that, and you might get 5 potential customers to your site a day if you've got your bidding strategy set up correctly. Tell me somewhere else you can do that.
Nope, you can't. Yeah. So Google ads, they can and do work for small business. You should be on there, and people can do it themselves, but be very careful with it. And if they want to give it a try, don't want to do it themselves, don't think they'll have the expertise, they can come to you. How do they find you, Ben?
Just go to enrichesbusiness.com.au. Phone numbers there, emails there. Yeah, just get in touch. Happy even just to have a chat and sort of point you in the right direction.
It's best to talk to locals. Locals look after locals differently. You may be getting calls from massive marketing companies around Australia that are struggling themselves at the moment, and they're trying to bamboozle everybody into changing their provider. King Kong is a perfect example of a marketing company that's got a really aggressive sales team, and they'll try and nick your wallet. So you would definitely better off staying local. Actually, great analogy. I once worked with a bloke that said, I want to work with people that I can reach out and strangle if I need to. So he always worked local. So, mate, thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with us about Google Ads. Super complex and very well explained. Thank you so much. Mate, I hope you have an awesome day and keep busy.
You too.
Thanks, man. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.